caption
So
is
it
just
actually go on.
in.
Yep, there we go.
Yeah, that was funny when
Say it
Real
with
was
your
like,
chest.
Real was sitting there, and then he said whatever he said, and he was like,
Hey,
Hey,
stop
he said-
rubbing that nigga
I
back.
thought you was tripping.
No, I told you he was rubbing his back. He was like, what? Cause I was like, he a good brother, man. I was like, more power to him. He was like,
I went live.
you know, but yeah, he was like, yeah, but that's a real strong brother.
So we gonna pick up the record.
Yeah, that's a real strong individual. But then old girl was like, cause they was like, shout out to Trey, man, that's what's up. And she was like, no. Ooh, man, I can't take that credit, boy. One thing about it, boy.
Oh yeah.
All to him, boy. Listen,
Yeah.
no, that is not. Hey, I am not there yet. I am not there yet, boy. But I one thing about it, boy, I'm not gonna take the credit from my boy. That is not me. That's that's him. Oh yeah, most definitely, most definitely. You already got money. Yo, it's JP on the FWN podcast. Follow me, the Diary of Strong Black People. We here again on another panel. This time we are finally live on our panel. I got y'all favorite people back in the building. BJ, Trey, Queen,
Hey.
and we finally got Meg back in the building.
Hey guys.
She is finally back in the building. And guys, we finally have given you a visual as promised of the panel. Previously, before of our recordings, you know, that's going to come out previously. This is just something that y'all have actually got a sneak peek of what we do. This is just something that we tried, and we're going to make it happen this go round. But we wanted to give y'all, you know, the inside scoop of how we living when we do our panel and stuff like that. Before this episode was going to come out audio later on. Y'all gonna see it first, and then when it come out, now you hear it. You heard it again, you know what I'm saying? But the ones previous, though, you know, you're gonna hear the ones that we actually did before. But finally, you're gonna hear what's about to come out, and trust me, it's been lit. It's definitely been lit, and every time, you know, we have a guest, you know, come through and witness. We've had 3. This is the third one. And we've had somebody witness all 3 of them already. That's crazy. That's crazy. And it's been lit every time, you know. But, you know, we've definitely been already tapping in and getting into conversation. But what I was enjoying us talking about was living in the truth, especially as a man over. You know what I'm saying? Just living in truth and society wise of, you know, the push of basically with a man living in his truth of how he has to, you know, to the public, how he's seen. You know what I'm saying? To the way how he has to stand firm on certain things or have to be some way because of the optics and what society say he has to be like. You know what I'm saying? And that's one thing me and Jack was talking about before you walked in. When they left, you know, to go get the food, me and them down into a personal conversation with each other, and you ended up walking into it again. And the tail end that you came into is so crazy because you didn't hear any of the previous how we got there, but how you closed, you know what I'm saying, how you came and slammed the door shut. It was just amazing how you just really just bridged that.
Locked up all the locks.
I'm talking about lock that motherfucker down. And that's crazy, but you know, it's just pretty much, you know, we basically was talking about the Christian Baptist Church. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, I was just telling him about it's not that you having to go to church all the time to just feel like you're a man of God, or just because I'm not in the pulpit as a preacher or ordained minister, I don't have an auxiliary, I'm not participating in an auxiliary in the church, that I'm less of a God-fearing person than you are. You know what I'm saying? And then going every Sunday or every Saturday that you go to worship, but basically it's more of the Baptist Christian that we were talking about.
In reference to what?
Going to church all the time.
Okay.
Going to church all the time. You know what I'm saying? And being less of if you don't go all the time. You know what I'm saying? And being looked at funny if you're not a part of, you know what I'm saying, and things like that. Yeah, and you know, and again, when you do better, when you know when you know about it. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing about it. And I think, like he said, growing up, grandma made sure we went to church. Right. Grandma made sure of that. Sunday school. Yeah. Well, it's somebody old.
Well, if not grandma, it's your mama. If you're not your mama, it's your auntie. You know what I mean? But like I was telling him earlier, with our grandma, it's like when we was younger, she planted that seed to where no matter how far we go from church, you know what I mean, and do whatever we do, we will always find our way back. And it don't take much for us to just, you know, step into the church and you got that. My thing is, you just got to build your own relationship with God. Right. You know what I mean? He said when 2 or 3 join together, which is in the Bible, right? Mm-hmm. You can have church right there. But just by, you know, establishing, you know, that praying, that worship, and like before I brush my teeth, you know, I listen to the motivation speech right before, you know, I get up. You know, in the first 20 minutes, I think you told me something about it. The first 10 or 20 minutes, you know, you wake up, go ahead and put something positive in your head. You know what I mean? And I literally, I just started doing that, and you know, on my way to work, I listen to some worship music, you know, or I just drive in peace, so I could just get my mind set on word. Okay, ain't nothing about to bother me, no negativity, none of that. Right. And just by who, you know, God done, you know, put me around, you know what I mean? By us, you know, having the group chat, you know, just keep me going throughout the day, you know what I mean? That just, it just depends on what you allow yourself to be around, you know what I mean? So, I mean, that's just the stuff I picked up, adapted on just from being around y'all. And just a lot of positive stuff and not letting, you know, nobody interfere in, you know, what God done put me in, you know what I mean? Right.
And where that came from, I'm listening to all that, and then it's like, okay, but did you get all of that from going to church every Sunday?
You get that from life.
That's the thing. You know what I'm saying? Did you get that from going to church every Sunday, though?
You do get a foundation.
You get the foundation
within yourself from being in an environment that was consistent. But from that, then you relate everything that you learn or everything that you see, even the trashy stuff you see in church. You relate for real. Church ain't pure. It's not. I know. It's the you know what I'm saying? It's the difference from the people and the message. You know what I'm saying? But you get all that stuff. You get all that. It's human. You get all that stuff. It's church. And you put it into your life.
It's the thing. It's about. Follow what I'm saying on this. It's about principles and applications, right? So, when you do something that is right, that is correct, that application is according in order with principle. Principles don't change. Applications do. Right? So I'm listening to it. I'm like, dang. Okay. So it's in the scriptures. Okay, it's Philippians. I want to say it's Philippians 4:8. Matter of fact, you know what? I don't want to just I don't want to misquote. So let me look it up real quick, so that I can just read it verbatim. Okay.
While you looking that up, right? I say that all the time, though. You always heard me that, right? He used applications and it's that. But what I use is words and behaviors. Words
Same
change.
thing, same thing.
Words change all the time. Behaviors don't.
Right.
People can tell you something till they blue in the face, but words change based off of if you feel good that day, you gonna finesse. You feel
But
sad that day,
behaviors
you gonna
do
be
change.
doomed and gloomy, huh?
Behaviors change based on perspective.
Behaviors change, right? But most behaviors are consistent.
Right. Until the perspective has changed.
It's consistent.
Right.
That's the thing. And and I say that consistently because, like we said on the other episode the other day, every behavior that has a name, it has a name because
And
it's
it was
consistent.
It was
That's the
consistent
thing.
enough to be identified.
It's just consistent enough to be identified.
Right.
So that means it's consistent. Anything that you do that you can't identify and name it,
Right.
it's new. It's, oh shit, what is that? If it doesn't have a name, but words change, behaviors don't. That's how you can read a person, and that's how you know if a person, you pay attention to how they move. That's how you can tell them. But everything that somebody sweep you off your feet with words, that's just finesse.
You pay attention to the pattern.
But I want you
The
to
patterns behind the behavior.
In order for the state, I just got a problem with the statement. In order for the statement to be completely true and valid, is if you add perspective. Because I could think one way about something, like my behavior has changed. You knew me in another behavior. My perspective changed, and so did my whole way of life. So if I can get you if you have an habitual thing going on, or just something that you do on a day-to-day basis, and I get you to see something from a different perspective, and you take that perspective, you can change your whole outlook and everything that you do.
Boom, I'm glad you said that. But is gay really a behavior? Or is that just an act that you chose? Gay
is behavior.
Is gay behavior, or it's a choice that you make? It's just something that
A choice that you make is a behavior. A behavior is a choice that you make.
Elaborate.
Some of it can be impulsive, but you make the decision. You might not be completely aware of it, but once you realize that this behavior is a choice, you then decide whether or not you're going to continue that. Everybody is told, if we're going to speak on that, if we're going to speak on homosexuality, everybody is told throughout their life at some point that it's wrong, that homosexuality is wrong. At that point, now it's not something that you're doing instinctively. Like the first time that you see a female that's attractive, that's instinctive. You didn't choose for her to be attractive, she was attractive. So as a female being attracted to a woman, I didn't say, oh, I'm 4 years old, I'm gonna go in this preschool and she's gonna be attractive today. No, you go in there, you look at people and you're like, oh, she's beautiful, or whatever the case may be, and then you attach that to something else and it becomes a sexuality. But attraction is before sexuality, and when it's attraction, it's not a decision, it's impulsive. But once you realize, hey, people are saying that my initial attraction to her is wrong. Now, at that point, you can do something else with the attraction. You can either say she's just beautiful, and we're gonna leave it at that, or you can attach it to sexuality, which is what most people do. And now I'm taking my sexual desires at 4 or 5 years old that you're not really understanding and attaching it to the attraction, and then you become comfortable with that. One, because when you're younger, everybody they situate females with females, period. So if you end up having that initial attraction and your mom is allowing you only to be around females for the majority of your life, and then you attach that attraction to sexuality, you experimenting becomes something that you used to doing, something that you're comfortable with doing, something that you actually practice without knowing you practice it, and you become really good at it. And at this point, you're comfortable in it. You've created an identity. You've done all these psychological things that you didn't realize that you did, and now it's more than a decision, but it's definitely a behavior. It's a creative behavior.
All right, I want him to read the scripture before I go back here because I don't want to.
Oh well, just piggybacking off of what BJ just said. You know, he said he started feeding his mind with something positive. It changed the day, and you know, I got that feed your mind something positive within the first 20 minutes from a motivational speaker named Les Brown that my pops put me on 2 years ago. But a lot of motivational speakers like Les Brown, like Eric Thomas, I can't think of the guy's name right now. It'll come to me. Zig Ziglar, all these different ones. They actually do things based off of a lot of the principles from Scripture. So, getting back to what B-Jack was saying, hey, this is Philippians 4:8. And it says, think on these things. It says, finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, which means right, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report, if there is any virtue, and if there be any praise, think on these things. Now that's scriptural. So if Les Brown is saying, and then if Trey is repeating what Les Brown is saying, hey guys, in the first 20 minutes, feed your mind something positive. It'll change the trajectory of the day.
And mean it. Right. People say
And I don't just, like, I got a video saying first 20 minutes. And I talk about this. Well, I did my research on it because I don't like to talk about things that I don't know what I'm talking about.
Right.
Well, I looked up why the first 20 minutes. And what it is, okay, so we're all familiar with hypnotists, right? Hypnotists, they hypnotize people, right? And they try to get people in their mind in a state where their mind is most impressionable. So they try to help them to stop smoking cigarettes or help them get over their fear of cats or whatever is going on. But it's like in the first 20 minutes of the day, your mind is operating at a certain wave where it's the most impressionable. So now in that first 20 minutes, hey, put that suggestion in. My day's going to be great. Or say some affirmations. Or feed it something positive. And then it's going to change the rest of the day. Because you started it off in like a hypnotic state almost. So now it's like, my day's going to be great. This day's going to be a beautiful day. I'm a king. Or whatever you feed yourself. Or if you look at some positive video and the video says, hey, you're beautiful. Smile more. Whatever. Your day is already has a platform to go off of for the rest of the day, and you might just have a great day because you told yourself or listened to something in the first 20 minutes that said you're gonna have a great day.
No, dog. I feel you, bro.
You know what I'm saying?
I feel you, bro.
But that's comes from the book.
Right. And just like you would take that in the book and apply it, the other day, the same book, he had to tell you about who you are.
For sure, yeah. Right.
It had to tell you about who you really were. And the thing about it, you knew who you was.
Right.
You knew exactly who you was. You doubted living in your own truth. You doubted your own self because of what other people because other people looked at you a certain way, or other people didn't
because
treat
I
you.
didn't feel I was being treated
that
the way that I was.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
but
the
you
way
had
I
to
was do.
because somebody else is giving you energy or treating you some way that you would still feel in yourself.
I realize now it's them. It's internal for them.
Because they're not there. They know they don't. But you've always knew thyself. After you, I don't like saying transition. As soon as you grew,
right,
you knew thyself. You knew thyself. You just didn't know more about thyself.
right.
You knew what space you needed to be.
Right.
You needed to go in that direction.
I was definitely.
But then you made a
myself.
conscious decision. Once you made a change to grow, you made a conscious decision to learn.
Embrace another part of myself.
Exactly,
right.
and to learn more. And when somebody knows that and they are interested into knowing and finding out, that means you spent every moment, every waking day, every hour, every second, every 365, 24, trying to find out more about you.
Right.
How the fuck can somebody else tell you what you deserve, who you are? How dare them?
Right.
Who give them that right?
Right.
After you're telling them, no, that ain't me.
I gave it to him.
That you went against your own
Right.
being, not even your mind, your own spiritual being
Right.
of letting.
Permission.
You know what I'm saying? You gave them permission to break you down and to discredit you, that you would say, well, maybe.
Start playing with your mind.
Right.
See, I feel like that's
But I only
definitely
allowed it.
starts. I feel like that starts when you doubt yourself, though, because you have to doubt yourself to let the other people's opinions in.
I think the most affected I've been by a person is when I allow myself to submit to them. I've always been, I don't want to say on my high horse or tooted my own horn, but I've always walked in my confidence no matter the growth or the pruning. But when I allowed myself to feel, when I felt like I submitted in all avenues and all ways to a person, and I'm trying to choose my words right, and I believed in their ability to discern. I believed in their ability to make decisions. I already believed that I was held on.
You gave yourself up.
I felt like I was
You
already
trusted
held
them.
on the
You
pedestal
trusted
that I
them
was supposed
enough.
to be on. Yeah, I felt like I was already on the pedestal I felt that I deserved to be on. So I let loose. And any critique, any this, that, and the third, I'm thinking it's from the same place that it would be if it came from me. So then I'm starting to like listen to these critiques. I'm starting and genuinely listening to these critiques and taking them critiques in and evaluate myself. Yeah, I tripped out. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe I didn't. Or if I did, let me look at it again. Let me wait for another situation to occur where I do it again. Let me see if I tripped out again. You know what I'm saying? Being very attentive to myself and the situations of this person I gave my trust to.
So internally,
And then
you
when
build
this
a case.
person started having their own doubts within themselves, then the critique changed
It
for
trickles
me.
down into you.
And now I'm receiving the same critique that this person should be critiquing on themselves. Or like now I'm receiving
Projection. People
Ooh.
always want
right,
to project.
Project how they
I'm
feel.
receiving projected, right. So now I feel like less of a queen. I feel like less, and I'm still consistently being who I always have been.
He got something for you.
Uh-huh.
So I was writing down notes like I said, when I started using it, the first 20 minutes, right? I heard it saying it, and I wrote it down because I believe a lot of people done went through this and probably still going through it today, but it says, don't let the noise of other people's opinions drown out your own inner voice.
Right.
So that's pretty much what you letting other people's opinions.
I grew past that.
Yeah, right. And just like me, it was the point to where, well, BJ would be all right. I gotta, want to make other people happy. I want to make other people feel good. I want to make,
right.
you know what I mean?
wanna be
Hey,
of
you need
service.
$1? Look like you need $1. Hey, this is my last dollar. I'll be fine.
Cause I'm gonna get another one. Here you
Right.
go.
But sometimes we gotta make sure we straight before we make sure other people straight. It's fine being selfish.
And everybody tell me that.
Self-love
Including the
is
people that
fine.
make me feel some kind of way tell me that too.
It's
It's not like it's a
They tell you
woman
what.
that you gotta think about yourself. You need to focus on you. You need to
They tell you that because you're telling them about another situation about somebody else. They're not
No.
telling you to be selfish to them because you will see once you do take that thing of being selfish and then you apply that to them and you tell them no, they'll feel the same way.
Yeah.
But they're only giving you that advice because you're talking about somebody else,
It's always gonna be presumed be selfish with everybody else,
but not me.
And
Right.
see,
That's why.
and some people, it'll get to the point where some people won't even give you that advice because they're like, damn, I want to tell her to be selfish, but shit, I'm gonna cut all my blessings. So,
Well, I
so
think-
people don't want to. A lot of people won't tell you that.
I think it depends on the individual because, when me and you talked the other night, I told you, and I kind of piggyback off of something I heard Jay was saying. People take this word selfish as a negative thing, and
We had
why?
this conversation.
And why is it negative?
It's not negative.
It's not. And so that's why I was telling you the other night. I was like, you have to before self first. Because, and the example I used was, okay, when you're on the plane, and they're talking about, hey, you know, if the thing comes down, put it on yourself first and then put it on the next one. Why? Because if you passed out, because the plane's going down, you can't save nobody. You passed out. So you got to put it on yourself first and then put it on the next one. Okay, well, that is showing love to self first. So then you can show love to the next man.
Right. Selflessly selfish.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful
That's what you said. That's how you level it out.
Right.
But like I said, man, how can, like you said, I say it all the time, how can you be the best for someone else when you're not the best version for you? That's people can't.
I was in a state where I was good. I was balanced enough to assist another. What happened was instead of that person submitting to me because I was straight and they needed the help, I submitted.
Energy vultures.
And so I'm straight.
Energy vultures.
But I submit, and now I'm not.
You said something the other day.
Well, now I am, but I wasn't.
You said something the other day. She said to me all the time too. And I think when y'all speak about exes, I always want to circle back, spin the block. Always, all my exes love me. All my exes do this. That we hear that all the time. But y'all specifically was saying that people that come back around. You know what I'm saying? That, you know, some such and such hit me up. Blah, blah, blah. And then it seems so random. You know what I'm saying? But the thing about it is, when you said how you realize, I'm dope. Duh.
Right.
But other people see your dopeness and they feed off your energy.
Right.
I know a partner, man, that, you know, every time things go on in his life, you know what I'm saying, and he feels down in his dumps. You know, I got another partner that is always giddy, always positive, always down for, you know what I'm saying, uplifting. You bring him around, you get yourself back up and you catapult off of his energy to get yourself back up, but you're not even comfortable enough within yourself after you get that energy to keep it on flowing. You're going to use that and you're not even really that type of person, so your meter starts going down because you can't sustain it.
Right.
And as soon as it get low again, you down in the dumps for a little minute, and then now you gotta attach yourself right back to this man because he's always gonna come and bring 110%. He's no matter. It's like him. No matter how much as much that you don't have, you gonna find it within your heart and within everything in you to give another person 110%. So he knows that. You're never gonna tell me you at 20. You're going to tell me, and you're gonna give me 110. You're gonna pull it within the energy out of your toenail and give me 110.
Whatever I got.
If I know that, I'm going to plug myself in like a charger and take that from you. He's gonna take that from you. And that's what you go through most of the time. What you're saying is you're submitting, but you're plugging your socket in every single time. And you're charging them up. And do you understand? Most of the people are keeping the charger connected and still using the fucking phone.
Right.
Once you do that, just like this laptop, she tells me all the time, I gotta take the cord out. Because I'm gonna wear the battery out. I can't cheat the system and keep this motherfucker plugged up and think it'll never die.
Right.
I'm gonna burn this bitch out.
Right.
And that's what you're doing.
Point to where you have to stay connected. If not, it's gonna shut off.
Exactly.
Right.
And that's what's happening with people.
But a lot of people don't know how to fill themselves up, though, and you know they do have to kind of vulture and leash off of other people. See, and it's crazy because the kind of people who, you know, like you said, will pull the energy out of their toenail. Those are some of the most hurt, bruised, and battered people who knows what it's like to be alone, not have anything. So now I know how I feel to be alone, so I have to overly extend to you because I've been there. Everybody can't pull themselves out of that spot, and you know that's something that, you know, I dealt with a lot. You know, even when I'm at my lowest, most depressed, anxiety through the roof, can't sleep, waking up at 3, 4 o'clock. You know, I'm gonna make you happy because what's something that we always hear? Happiness is contagious. A smile is contagious. So I don't have it in me. So I'm gonna put it in you, and hopefully it'll come back to me some way somehow.
It do though. To a degree.
But why is it not a boomerang?
That.
Why is it not a boomerang?
It's not.
People are so energy vultures, they don't fucking spin it back. They catch that motherfucker and whoop.
Take off with it.
Take off with that motherfucker.
You gave it to me, you threw it here.
Don't take eight.
And then they
Don't get
distance,
back.
and then they distance themselves until you charge back up. They don't want nothing to do with you charging back
Then
up.
it's when you know
If
you
try
were
to-
going through something, I wanted to give you your space, but bitch, I was going through something.
Right,
I threw it to you the
when I
first
threw it to
time.
you the first time, I want you to come fill me up. I want to be
So why are we
around
not
your
being
smiling
honest?
ass.
Why are we not being
Give me some.
Why are we not being honest?
A lot of times people are honest.
Who ain't being honest?
About telling the motherfucker, hey, I can't fill you up. I'm down. We're not
Cause I can.
Because
see you can because
It ain't never been a time where I
in
couldn't.
your might, you are going to make yourself do it because you are a strong tribal queen.
And I want to.
Exactly, but is it good for you?
It hasn't been.
Exactly.
a lot of people,
Exactly.
people are afraid because of you know if you are someone who's alone and you know you sit by yourself a lot, and when someone comes, it's like you want to keep them around. So it's like, I mean, damn, you know, I don't agree with what you're doing, but I want you to stay here because I don't want to be by myself. You have a lot of people who are like that. You know,
Or
Yeah,
on another
you
same
have-
token, but on the other side of the coin, you could see that if this person was to be in their highest self, to where I didn't have to feel them, and they was feeling themselves, that they would be plentiful like you. And you want to be a part of, not necessarily you want to be a part of it, but you feel like I'm an overflowing cup even when I'm not filled. Like I can still give, like you just said, I can still pour and pour and pour. So
you
if you ever get to
can still pour.
I can still pour when I'm at my I can,
Noise.
bruh. I'm telling you, some kind of way I'm overwhelmed. Like my ears getting hot. Some kind of way, by the grace of the Most High, I'm overwhelmed with another wave of strength. When I'm at my lowest, when I feel like I'm about to break, when I just can't take it no more, and I be crying, body hurt to the floor, want to die, just take me.
Dude.
I get overwhelmed with
But-
strength again.
But the thing about it is, why do we have to get to that point to where we have to tap into that other strength, to where if we just keep some of it to ourselves, we won't have to. And
Exactly.
you know,
You don't feel bad keeping it to yourself?
No.
Why you should?
So why?
So why?
Why would I?
Well, now I'm not
Listen,
feeling, but I understand.
Why should I feel bad if you don't have a shirt and I have one, but it's expected I give it to you, so now I'm left without one? So who did that really help? It helped you 100%, but it ain't helped me at all.
But now you smiling, and you
And you got on my shirt. Now I'm out here trying to cover up, and I'm like, hey, can I get your shirt? You like, nah, I only got one. Do I
I
have
only had one when I gave it to you.
Exactly.
And now I'm telling you about. Now you telling me I'm one of them that bring up what I did for you. I shouldn't have to tell you what I did for you because it should be off the strength.
But see, and we having this conversation with you because you are rejuvenated. You have found out. You know who you are. You don't feel bad, right? You're saying that. However, you still are not understanding why you should feel bad. So
I get it.
So my fear,
For myself.
and we're staying and harping on it
Self-preservation.
and being into you, because we want right now. We want to make sure, because right now you have not, in these last 3 days, maybe you have not had a situation, correct me if I'm wrong, you may not have had a situation in these 3 days where you have been to where you had to feel. You have not had a chance to feel bad yet, to have to
Today.
shut that fucking door yet.
I did.
Got you. Okay, so when you shut it, right, why did you shut it?
I didn't shut it.
And that was the fear. Because now you have...
So why didn't you shut it?
It wasn't a situation where I needed to shut it.
You ain't perfect. You're not
And
perfect.
no. This
You're not
wasn't. This
perfect.
wasn't a combative. This wasn't one of those situations where if I poured into, I was gonna end up empty. This
But you
wasn't-
gave.
This wasn't. I'm gonna always give, but now I'm gonna put myself first. I'm still gonna be me, But now I'm not gonna be. I'm probably never gonna be on the ground like.
Let me ask you this.
So the reason, let me ask you
Hurting
that.
again.
I don't mean to cut you out there, but
Mhm.
so did you not shut it because you cared about how they will feel about you?
No, I
Shut
didn't.
right.
No, I didn't shut it because I didn't have to for my self-preservation,
Mhm.
and I had what it took to pour. If you get what I'm saying, it wasn't gonna take away from my self-preservation to do it. Now I done got to points where my self-preservation was on the line, and I still sacrificed. That part of me, I learned not to do that. I'm not gonna do that again. But I wasn't in a position at this point. I like newly just been rejuvenated. I had done any fears that I had. I conquered them. Like I'm not even that person
Your energy
anymore.
level is lit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because from Sunday, even like yesterday, after we did it, I mean, Jacob vouched for it. Oh, I'm gonna be over here tomorrow.
Okay, first day, you was not here. We witnessed, me, him, and Rail
Okay.
was the broken. You seen next day of what she left from me, him, and
Right.
Rail.
Okay.
Alright? So you've witnessed the last 2 days. But let me tell you, the motherfucker came through my door and walked past me. Just
The first day.
Sunday. Open my door. Hey,
Straight like that.
in the living room.
She didn't give you a.
No hug. No rose. No nothing. Walk straight through.
She probably came in for business, dog.
Listen, bruh. She had it on her mind.
Well, she was about to let it out.
Had it on her mind. And I'm talking about when you was laying down. When they came in here yesterday, they had the loudspeaker. This nigga came skipping.
Yeah, I was
Down the yellow brick
Ari yesterday.
Yeah, hear me?
Hopscotch.
Yellow brick road. Yellow brick road, dirty.
Dog, that y'all woke me up out my nap. Hey, I turned to you. I said, "Who? That's her."
But yeah, I was in it when I came through here the first time. I was in the midst of the dismay.
So
When I came
now,
in the first
to
time.
what we was talking about, right?
Mm.
How you was down, and how the energy, cause bro, I from being around him, he always got good energy. I don't
I ain't
know
even from
what it is,
can
right?
paint.
So by you just coming in here, not knowing, I mean, you knowing what you about to talk about.
I knew
but
at the time. I knew him.
Right, but
Right.
once you connected with people.
Mhm.
That was like, I'm not saying
Kindred
you be
spirit,
around like
kindred
that.
spirit.
Right, so
Mhm.
like your energy, that bad energy that you had, that y'all just
It was instantly away because it wasn't mine to begin with.
right.
It was instantly.
It's all about who you connect yourself with it.
I went from dealing with that mentally to indulging in myself. The me that just the me, the conversation and us building and whatever like that.
Right.
I was listening to him just like he was listening to him. We was listening to each other. I was voicing at this point, what I was going through was no longer part of none of it.
You was
Nothing.
listening to him. You was listening to him. So
They
pretty
was
much
listening
they was
to me.
coaching you to get back to where you should be.
No, they was listening to me. No, it wasn't a session. It was literally him saying his opinion, him asking me questions,
Right.
me asking him questions. Really, he sat back for the most part, and it was a conversation between me and him. He asked questions, he answered. I asked questions, I answered. And it literally was a give and take, a consistent give and take, give and take, give and take, give and take. It had nothing to do. It had nothing to do with what either person in the room was going through. We were just being genuinely us about the topic at hand.
Just being open.
And from me being honest and just being authentically me,
Right.
something came out of him to show me. It wasn't even what we was talking about.
Right.
And he showed me. And I saw myself in that, what he was saying. Not that I hadn't already seen it, but I saw myself in that. And I was like, damn.
Read that shit again.
I posted it and everything.
Give a flashback. Read that
I was-
shit. Read it again. So everybody
we
can
are
know.
always going to be put in front of a mirror because a lot of times I can't look at myself and see what the issue is, but I can pinpoint it in you.
Right.
So you're always going to be put in front of somebody who's a mirror to you, because you'll eventually start to see you and be like, you know what? Damn, that's what I sound like.
You know
That's
what I realized?
Mm-hmm. Well,
I realized I was dope, regardless of somebody who didn't see me as that way.
oh yeah.
And I knew I was dope,
Mm-hmm.
but the person I cared to see me that way, in the way that people that didn't even know me intimately saw me,
Mm-hmm.
didn't see it. And I'm like, I know for a fact, I put my whole 110% heart into every action that I do in your presence to show you that. I know I put
You know
effort
what's so
into
crazy?
it.
But
And you
dope.
still don't see it?
You were dope in school.
Thank you, I know I was.
But
mm-hmm.
it's just go ahead,
It
bro.
was different.
You dope now.
Thank you. No, good.
Live in it. Live in
Flatter
it.
me.
But
All right, so-
you have to realize that it's the other person that's defective and not you, and I think that's what we don't come to the conclusion.
And I ain't perfect.
enough with.
I must admit.
Nobody
Nobody's
is.
That's
Right.
crazy because how
Nobody
Jay was
is,
talking
but-
about it. Why do we try to live that perfect thing when it's only one perfect and he's the creator? You know what I mean? We
Right.
try so hard to be so. Go ahead, bro.
No, I'm feeling what
He
you're
was
saying.
Yeah, he was
Because earlier I was listening to him talk,
Mm-hmm.
and I was listening to what Jay was saying with the energy, and I was just like, what you just said was so profound. There's only one perfect one, and when he was here walking the earth, what happened?
He was scrutinized.
All these folks were sick, and he was just healing.
he had people
All this
asking
energy
for
coming
help,
out of
and
him,
people
healing.
criticizing.
All to the way to the point there was a lady that had an issue of blood for 12 years, and he's walking, and the crowds was throwing him, and then he just touched his robe, and he felt energy leave him. And he was like,
Right.
who touched you?
Turn around. Who touched me?
Who touched you? You know? And she was just like, you know, she was trembling.
It was
I can't see
that
you.
guy.
I knew I had the faith to be here and touch it, and it left. And he was just like, yeah, your faith healed you. But he was perfect, and he had an abundance of energy to give.
Right.
So he's God. He's Elohim. He's the ultimate, right? So we're human. Sometimes we gotta realize that we're human. Sometimes we need a break. Sometimes we need to go to sleep. None of us, everybody here that's sitting in this room right now, has had to go to sleep to recharge.
Right.
Everybody. There ain't nobody in here that's been like, I've been awake since I came out the womb. And I ain't never took a nap, I ain't never go to sleep.
Yeah.
Nobody. We always gotta recharge. We gotta eat. We gotta get energy from food, water, sunlight, sleep, all this stuff. But he's the only one that has ultimate energy. Ultimate. I mean, why did Moses go up the mountain and he had to eat for 40 days and 40 nights? Because he was around constant energy.
Like that. He loved God.
He comes down from the mountain and his face is glowing because he was in constant energy for 40 days and 40 nights.
Mm-hmm.
And that, I mean, that's just real though, because at the end of the day, that's just how it is. Like, people would take passion, and I go through that also. Like, a lot of people, it's not even that someone's yelling at you.
They
or
see it as
somebody,
aggression.
It's just because they see it as aggressive. But
Times have I been tried
they can
for that.
state that you're passionate, but they still take it
Right.
as aggressive. You know, but even piggybacking off of with Trey said, though, if it's only one, society as humans, we got to understand we can't let people make us feel like we have to be perfect. Even the Bible says we are striving just to be in his image. We are not striving to be perfect like him, guys. We are striving to be in his image. And that's where I go back to the church thing, bro. It's just like, be honest. Break it down to people. If you are the teacher, just break it down and
I don't
be
understand
real.
why people
Even the
think-
tithes and offering thing that we were talking about. Break it down to the people. We know the tithes. It was just, you got to keep the lights and the water on, bro.
people care so much
You
about
know
being
it's not about
ashamed
giving. You
or
know it's not about
embarrassed.
giving 10%
You hear
of your
me?
earnings, huh?
They care so much about being ashamed and embarrassed.
But
to
if
be
you are
honest.
if you are the shepherd,
And I'm like, my whole thing is, if you're so ashamed or embarrassed by this, why do you make it so consistent that you can't be honest about it? Once it seems as if I got a flaw and I say, look, I be lying. At that point, I have to stop lying, or I'm going to continue to be a liar. At that point, I've acknowledged that I'm a liar. I done let y'all know I'm a liar. So now it's time to improve.
But you gotta lie for the first lie. And then the next lie. You gotta tell another lie to cover up that lie.
Right.
So it's like digging dirt.
I'd rather just be
Throwing
like,
some more dirt on
I'd
that
rather
lie.
be like, man, I be getting drunk, bro. It's time for me. Like, I don't drink, but I be getting drunk. I'm an alcoholic. It's time. I cannot keep it a secret. The more I keep it, if I keep me being an alcoholic secret, or if I'm lying about being an alcoholic, I got room with myself to still play and be an alcoholic. But if I hold myself accountable, I let somebody know that care about me. Now I have to stop being an alcoholic. Like, or now I gotta stop lying or
People
stealing.
think that saying it is enough accountability.
It's not.
They don't put the work behind the admittance of something. They use it as a crutch now. It's like, damn, you done had 5
They
drinks.
victimize
I told
themselves.
you I was an alcoholic. Why you surprised?
Right. Now being honest is the excuse.
Yeah, it's
You don't want to be no
excuse,
better,
and
man.
it's no further or continued.
Don't be walking around here
accountability.
acting righteous, talking righteous, portraying righteous, and then behind closed doors doing unrighteous stuff.
So check it,
They
right?
keep the spirit
I
so
seen this
unclean.
earlier, and I think this is why I brought up. I truly believe when you have messages and when you are spiritually inclined, the Creator, He brings you things, and we take it as coincidence, but it's Him showing you things. He's putting you in areas because of wanting you to know. Your spirit, test trials in your spirit, trust in your spiritual being, trust how I'm leading you. And I came across on Facebook earlier, on Curtis Rucker status, and he was just saying about the older and younger people, about how they don't address the pedophile uncle, or they don't address the granddaddy that got all the outside babies, but you cover up those type of lies on the pedophile. You don't address that. You don't say, yeah, that's my uncle. He be fucking around with these young children, or is he touched auntie? Because a lot, and back in earlier, a lot of these young girls, like I was telling them, I never agreed in the Christian church when that little girl gets pregnant. You make her stand in front of the church, and you scrutinize, you chastise, and you embarrass that child in front of everybody. You make her ask for forgiveness. You make her feel lower than herself, and that's not right, because you call her fast, but you know why. Because why? Pastor, granddaddy, uncle, or the dude down the street that was 32 years old exposed her to that and touched her.
Right.
She was exposed to that shit.
Right.
But you don't speak about that. You make that little girl, just because she got pregnant and ate, she either got pregnant by the older dude and y'all not saying nothing, or B, just because she got pregnant by somebody younger, her age, you just calling them fast. But no matter she got exposed.
Right.
She got exposed.
Either it was your lack of parenting or
agree.
neglect.
Even pastor. Most of these pastors in this church got first lady on the bench, but then got the lady next to her, ain't got no drawers on, with a dress on and a skirt, he looking under the drawers, or down the first pew, it's a couple females in the pews, even front row or anywhere, pastor having sex with them in the church, and we're not pointing that out. But then you scrutinize the minister of music because you call him sweet.
Well,
you call him sweet. You ostracize that man because he's gay, but you let pastor run the streets and just say pastor is a Rolling Stone. We sit there and we congratulate that, or we keep that a secret, but then you ostracize the pregnant little girl or the sissy little the minister of music.
People are never going to bring a shine a light onto the things that they're doing. So if you're a pedophile, you're not gonna want to tell on the uncle down the street because you know why you can get looped into that too. People, I mean, we all have chapters that we don't want read out loud, but that's why you're never going to shed a light, because then when it comes out that you are a pedophile, guess what? Now you're a hypocrite. You're hypocritical. And you're a pedophile.
Well, you're just a hypocritical nasty bitch.
Yeah, and you are.
I mean, but that's
why they're not going to shine that light on it, because it's something that they're involved in.
Check it. As soon as you were saying what you were saying, I was like, I got the perfect one for this. Check this out. And I thank you that you said what you said, because check this out. It's in the book. Check this out.
Y'all, he the book, y'all. He the book. He
John.
gonna go to the book.
John 8. Check this out. Then the scribes and Pharisees brought to him a woman caught in adultery. And when they had set her in the midst, they said to him, Teacher, this woman was caught in adultery in the very act. Now Moses in the law commanded us that such should be stoned. But what do you say? This they said, testing him, that they might have something of which to accuse him. But Jesus stooped down and wrote on the ground with his finger as though he did not hear. So when they continued asking him, he raised himself up and said to them, He who is without sin among you, let him throw a stone at her first. And again, he stooped down and wrote on the ground. Then those who heard it, being convicted by their conscience. Why were they convicted by their conscience?
Because they know what they do.
Okay? Went out one by one. This is funny.
This is funny.
Went out one by one, beginning with the oldest, even to the last. Now, this poses the question. They were convicted by their conscience. Did they have sex with her too?
No, but they guilty
They knew.
of sin.
No, wait. Did they have sex with her too? Or they said they caught her in the very act.
So they knew.
So they knew what was going on. How did they know that she was? How did they know she was screwing at that time? At that time of the day.
You aware of her
And then they brought her, but where's the guy that she was screwing?
Right.
Exactly.
So
That's the
when you
document
saying, man, they
difference.
brought this girl in front of the church and they hey, you come on, they're not even following the one that they say they believe in as example.
I always
Come
say
on, man.
It's two sides.
Come on, man.
It's two sides to everything. It's two sides to a coin.
And then he didn't even judge it. He said, okay, they all leave, right? He raised himself up, saw no one but the woman. He said to her, Woman, where are those accusers of yours? Has no one condemned you? She said, No one, Lord. And Jesus said to her, Neither do I condemn you. Go and sin no more. He had compassion. He forgave her.
Compassion.
And he said he came to magnify and fulfill the law. So they come to him and talk about Moses, the one that wrote the law. They say, Moses said, this is what we should do. What do you say? No, you brought the woman only. If they were both caught in the act, you should bring the man too. And if you want to stone her, you got to stone him.
And that's real. Like you said, two sides of a sheet of paper, two sides of your hand, dollar.
You goofy. The table, the flow,
Is
the up, the down, the side.
Sides to a person.
you know what I'm saying? So you can't look at one side and not look at the other side. Because like I said, she got there somehow. And not just that act. Let's go back further how she got there. Let's see how it all began. We're looking at everything face value. How did this shit begin? At that young age, what influenced that? What made that?
But that's why I could pour into people.
Alright, let's go back to that. Alright.
You gonna wear yourself out.
But you know, no,
I
she's
done
not.
did that.
No,
That's
she's
why I'm
not.
back.
No, she's not. Because
I'm
that's
back.
where I was gonna go. She's not, because you know why?
Why is that?
We're spirit. We're all five of us, right? We're all the same. We pour into people. We do for people, right? We have been called to do that because only a certain few have called to be. Everybody has not been called to be. Not everybody has that calling to do that. There are only certain few that are. We are the certain few, right? The issue is, she's telling you, she's always going to give that. She cannot help it because she is within herself. She knows her. She has accepted. She has called in to be that. She's never going to be able to fight that. What helps the situation out for her to always be able to be charged is things like this.
Makes sense.
To charge each other up because we have to go back out and do what we're supposed to do.
Right.
They're going to suck. They're going to be sucking.
And
They're
like
going
we
to suck
sucking from
drop.
each other. I don't think we sucking from each other.
We're never, and we don't suck from each
What
other.
she talked about earlier, I'm getting to this. She was saying this before we started recording. She talked about after, so you go into the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is the huddle.
Right.
This is the huddle, so we get back out and play
So we
ball.
can get back out there and do what
We
we
come
gotta
and we
do.
huddle.
Right.
Individually,
Quarterbacks.
do our job.
Say the play. Tell us the
Look,
play.
I made a video just today about this and
Passion.
at passion, right?
Yeah.
And at the end of the video, I talk about fire starters and fire fighters, fire lighters and firefighters, right? And this was in this book called Success is a Choice, written by John C. Maxwell.
Mm-hmm.
And what he was saying was this, okay? He was talking about passion and everything, but he was talking about how, like, if you have to identify people, and you gotta identify them whether they are fire fighters or fire lighters. Now, this group right here, what Justin just said, this is a group of fire lighters.
Okay.
When you're around somebody who's a fighter, they're trying to put out your fire. They're trying to put out your passion. They're trying to put out who you are. But hey, Queen, if this is who you are, then live in that. And if they can't handle it, if they're offended by it, if they're trying to put you down, then they are a firefighter. They're trying to put out your fire. They're trying to put out your passion. And that's somebody that you have to distance yourself from. You have to say, look, even if you love them, and I said this in the video, I said if you love them from afar, love them from a distance. Like, I'm going to have to put you over here. You're in this category. You don't even have to tell them what they are, but you know who they are. You are a firefighter. And every time you come around, you try to dim this light. You try to dim this fire, this blaze that's going on. No. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to get around Jay. I'm going to get around BJ. I'm going to get around Trey. I'm going to get around Meg. I'm going to stay away from you until you understand that that's what you are. And if you convert from being a firefighter to a fighter lighter, then you can come back around. But I have to love you from afar right now. And then I'm going to continue to shine bright to be a light and example for you to see. And then you can be like, okay, why she don't want to be around me no more? Something must be wrong with me. Yes, you now need to look internally and figure out what the heck is wrong with you.
Right.
But until you do, I'm not going to be around you.
Right.
I'm going to be around them.
Right.
The energy.
I love it. Look at this.
You know,
He feel like your ears hot. I know he hot.
but you know
You
what?
got it. I love it. I
That's
love
really
it.
what they call, doing shadow work.
Shadow work, right?
It's always been called
I love
different
it.
things, but that's what shadow work is. Shadow work is looking at you, and when something happens, instead of just being like, damn, that triggered the fuck out of me. You gotta be like, well, why was I triggered by that?
Mm-hmm.
You can't. You have to dig deeper. You have to start to understand you, and once you start to understand you, you'll definitely start to understand people more too.
Right. There's an in-between that I haven't addressed, but I didn't want it to turn into that unless it needed to. But
There you go. There you go. I told you. Give
No,
her grace,
but
she'll walk herself in that motherfucker. That's her. Now she feels.
well, call me out.
You
Look, this is what I want to say though. I want to admit that I've come in contact being drained by people who are, because his example showed me something. So perspective. People that are fire lighters going through something that allows them to have firefighter behavior.
Mm.
So, let me see if I can put this into an example. If I would say 80% of one individual could be a firelighter.
Mm-hmm.
But they're going through something so drastic that they end up being in and out of being a firelighter and being a firefighter because of a stressful situation or a stressful, like not knowing how to. It's like being a firelighter and losing your flame to a degree and not understanding how to deal with situations that I really can't explain because I have never been a victim of it. I know how to set my something to the side to like really think about a situation before I allow it to let me act. Mm-hmm. And I've never been DUI under the influence. Mm-hmm. I've never been under the influence to the
Never got drunk off.
I've never been
intoxicated.
intoxicated. I'm just period though. Some people altered by substance and lose the light, and now you firefighting because you intoxicated or something and don't understand. You know, because you're going through something while you in your light. You know what I'm saying? So, it's hard for me to get the balance. But what do you do when you know that this person is a firelighter? They're a firelighter in so many different ways and you've seen it. Yet, it seems as if they fighting the fire. Like they fighting fires.
Distance.
Oh,
Distance.
all right. That's what I was about to say. I let her go first.
You still have to distance yourself once you see it, though. It's just like you said. You know, you'll come back around to it, but while you're there, you gotta stay there because you can't put my fire out.
Right. Okay.
You keep your ass
Even if
down.
Even if it's temporary.
Listen,
I didn't want nobody listening to feel like they had to be one or the other.
No, naturally, you know, there are people who are going to be, you know, what y'all said, firelighters and firefighters. And see, I would say, and indeed, you do have the people who aren't necessarily firefighters, but like me, and you know, I tell him this all the time. When I'm going through what I'm going through, I don't want to be around you because sometimes I just feel like I'm just sad as hell. I don't want to put that on you.
Right.
Because what I feel like I tend to do sometimes when I'm really going through my shit, you know, just emotionally unloading that on other people. So now on top of what you're going through, now you're carrying my shit with you because you care about me so much. You know, you want to figure out how to solve my problems too. It's not fair. So you do have the people who will try to distinguish your fire, and then you have the people who like, you know what, right now I'm not operating on the frequency that I need to, and I can see that and I feel that within myself, and I don't want to put that on you.
Do it make you selfish as somebody who love you to insist?
It doesn't make you selfish. It makes you persistent, but now I'm going to fight you because I love you enough to not pull you down with me.
Yeah.
So
now you're still fighting. You fighting
that's
each
what
other
happened.
still.
If I'm already in the quicksand, I don't want you to step in it too because now we both here.
That's what happened.
How can you?
I can't help you.
Yeah.
That's
if
more
I'm
honest.
sinking, I can't help you.
So
That's more.
That's who I was, and I'm glad she said it first because I wanted before I said anything. I just wanted to. I'm glad someone said something before me instead of me saying something and piggybacking off of it. But what I was about to say was, how can it goes back to you would have to learn, bruh, if you can't give, you just tell a person, right now, you have to distance yourself. I can't right now because again, when you don't have, you can't give.
Address that. Address what we just said though. What do you feel about, like she said, she was talking about being the type of person, she's a firelighter.
Okay.
Going through something,
So,
going through something that would allow her to be a firefighter if she being around somebody who care about her.
Yeah.
And she distances herself because she's acknowledging that her actions, if she was around you, could lead to firefighting.
Yeah, she's only firefighting
But you
because she,
insist.
yeah.
Because I asked her, I said, what if I love you and I insist on
Anybody
being around you?
who
to
you
pour
truly
into
love, you are going to give them that grace of what they're asking for even when it hurts you.
Yeah.
The same thing, you know, when people say, you know, sometimes it hurts us
That's why I
more
actually feel it's
because,
selfish.
and it's not.
No, was it self? Is it
Oh,
selfish
no.
of
No.
me
It's not
to love
selfish.
you enough to
Mhm.
say I got what it takes to help you through this, whether you want me to?
It's
help you
selfish
through
of
it or not.
you.
But
It's
That's what I was asking.
it is selfish of you because at the same time, we have to listen. You got 2 ears.
Mm.
People will tell you things in context that you need to pick up on. They're not someone like that. If she's going to be a fighter, she's not going to tell you, look, motherfucker, if you stick around, I'm going to bring you down because I'm so hurt. She keeps saying, listen, I just promise you, I'm not, just give me some time. I'm really going through it. No, I want to be here for you. Listen. I got it. I just really just need, people should not have to be that in
I
depth.
need some me time.
People should not have to be that in depth.
Even in the meantime.
But sometimes it takes that one time of saying, you sure? Because that's just, but it takes one time, damn it.
But what if but see,
It takes one time, damn it.
well, what it means,
One
is, what
time,
I mean is like, okay, so
Queen, listen.
Cause
Okay.
hold on, before you go there, hold on. One time.
now this is helping me
Hold
personally.
on. I know I want you to go there. Hold on. So she said, one time, Queen, cause let me tell you, if a man sexually advances you
Okay.
and you tell him no one time, does it only take that one time for it to mean no? How many times you have to tell no for him to understand you're not interested, for you to be felt up on, for him
Right.
to advance aggressively on you,
Nigga,
to
the
sexualize
first
you?
time.
Right.
Exactly.
One time.
But look,
I just wanted to start it before, because you got to look at it that way.
Now,
sometimes people don't know what they're asking of you.
Queen, listen.
Uh-huh.
Now getting back to what May was saying, okay? Getting back to what she was saying. This is what you gotta understand, and it also goes back to something that Jay was saying earlier before we even started recording. You know, he was talking about how I had the friend and trying to help her out, and she da-da-da, and I was upset, and you know, and I realized, okay, it's gonna be a process. You gotta allow people to go through their process, or whatever they're dealing with. Allow them that freedom, allow them that autonomy to go through their process. That is showing more respect and honor and love than you can ever imagine. Especially if they're saying, hey, now sometimes discernment is important. You gotta realize, okay, you gotta discern, is she really telling me, leave me alone? Or is she really saying, there's a cry for help? Now I understand that.
Right.
I understand that
Yes,
part.
and-
I understand that part.
Okay.
But a lot of times, if you're really paying attention, and like Jay said, you're listening, you can discern the difference. You can discern the difference. Now, this is something that I've had to learn because, you know, sometimes I want people to get to their goals so much that I'm like, hey, but I'll be seeing that I want it more than they do.
Right.
You
That-
pushing
that-
them because you're pushing them because you see what the potential is, but they have not seen what the potential is.
Right.
And you're
And you
going to
see
tire
that
yourself trying to drag them to where you feel like, hey, I see you here. Get the hell from over here. This is where I see you.
Right.
But they don't. And they're going to continue to fight you on it. And you are going to wear yourself out because when you let go and you drop down, all they're going to do is stand up. I ain't put no energy into it. It was all you. And you know, that is what people will do. You know, even back to what you were asking, you know, sometimes that, you know, we want to do so good for people sometimes that we don't realize that we become a human crutch for so many people because of what, you know, I want to help you. I've been there. But that's how you enable people. And that's also how you keep people dependent on you. And when you do that to everyone across the board, you are constantly worn down because even though you're not, you know, giving to 5 people right now, you got one person pulling you this direction. You got one person pulling you that direction. You're going in all these different directions and it gets to the point to where you don't know if you're coming or if you're going. because
Right.
and it also gets so heavy on you because so many people are leaning on you. And see, and that's another problem. We wait until we allow so many people to lean on us and we fall. And now guess what? You don't know how to pick me up.
Right.
Because I've always been the strength for you.
Right.
Instead of leaving you alone, letting you figure it out, letting you pull your strength from wherever you need it, I was always like, you ain't got to do that. Here you go. You ain't got to work for food. Here you go.
Right.
I got enough food.
That's exactly what
And that is what, you know, it comes, that's what it boils down to.
Right.
So, you know, and you have to always be careful because you do have some people who will know that you're that kind of light, so they know, well, you know what, damn, I'm gonna tell her I don't want her to, but I know she gonna ask that one extra time for that reassurance.
Mm-hmm.
So now I can say, well, you know, I told you I didn't want you to do it, but you know, you offered again and I took it. So now when you're depleted, guess what? They don't even feel bad because now you offered. I didn't ask you.
Right.
You have people who will throw it back on you like that, and now guess what? You feeling slighted.
But then what happens a lot of times too is if you say, okay, you say you need some space, all right, damn. Oh, you don't love me.
I do, but then you ask for it.
Check this out. Check this out.
That's the thing. You have to use people. You know, not to use it against them, but you know. So, and that's when you sit down and you ask them, well, what do you want from me? Because I told you X, Y, Z, and you told me you didn't. And I granted you exactly what you asked for, and you still turned around and you said that wasn't enough. So, honestly, you can't be pleased in this situation.
Right.
So, at this point, you don't even deserve to be around me because there's no pleasing you.
Right.
Not that I'm here to please you, but, you know, I say all the time, if being around you costs me my peace, if it costs me, you know, anything of the sort, baby, I can't afford you. You gotta go. Right. You expensive as hell.
Right.
Once I lose my peace, what I got? Well, I'm over here insane in the bitch. I got kids to worry about. I can't afford to be around you.
Right.
And I don't think we look at people like that enough.
Right.
We always want to, I see your potential. I want to help you. It's just like, okay, shit, I see it, but do you? Do you see your potential? You don't? I can tell you all day, you are amazing. You can do what you want to do, but if you doubt it, we're not getting anywhere. So I gotta let you go. I gotta let you do that work until you figure it out. And once you figure it out, it's like, damn, you know, I am amazing as a motherfucker. Let me go talk back to her because she saw that shit when I didn't. And at that point, we can move forward. But until you at least meet me there, it's nothing that we can do.
Let me
Go ahead,
Let me get the baton. For one, yo, that was dope.
Yeah.
That was dope what she just said, yo.
Yeah.
Like, drop the mic. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Damn.
Check this out. Check this out.
Mm-hmm.
Think about this. This is deep. We're all walking, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why are we all walking right now? Because whoever raised us saw our potential. And they all knew that we could walk when we were babies.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? We was crawling around. We saw everybody else walking. We knew we had the potential to walk. Because I see daddy walking. I see mommy walking. I see uncle. I see auntie walking. I know I can walk.
Right.
But our parents or whoever raised us, right? Every time that you were like trying to struggle and get up and walk, you know what I'm saying? They didn't, if they just continue to like catch you or assist you, you would never walk. And then you would be not paralyzed, but you would be handicapped.
Right.
Because you'd be just sitting around, your legs be too weak because they wouldn't allow you to get the legs muscles strong enough to where you could finally get up and then take some steps. And they said, come on, baby, you could do it. Right?
Conditioning. Right.
But they allowed you to go through the process for your legs to get straightened so you could walk.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Mm-hmm. So, I mean, come on.
Just, okay, quick
I feel like
childish
I had to do
moment.
it food. I
Quick
feel like
childish.
I walk because of food.
Just,
So
just childish moment. Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
chicken
just
bowl.
imagine though if none of us didn't learn how to walk, we all just crawling around. Okay? Just imagine that, like we all just crawling around. Like,
world, isn't it?
it's just silly. Look, we be
Rick and
animals.
Morty shit.
We'll be fucking animals. Like we
Could you
crawling.
imagine animals walking?
Yeah, that's scary.
So why don't we put more time into teaching a dog how to walk then? Because it look
Like when you see that
Cause-
TikTok and it be a dog walking around, that thing, that don't
So
look
it looks weird because we don't see they have 4 legs. But are there
legible words.
does a dog is that dog those paws meant to have all 4s? Or is it just because we don't teach them how to walk? They're not gonna be because it looks like some German, but the German shepherds cuz got some strong back legs. Cuz you see how calves, them German shepherd calves is, man. Like you can let them big motherfuckers walk.
Bro, where you
Bro,
going?
they ain't got fingers, they got paws. It's meant for their ass to walk.
Right. I'm sick of him. I said, we
But-
got this conversation. He just flipped.
But it's just like cuz it's just a child of his like just thinking about crawling, man. Like damn.
He did preface it childish moment.
Yeah, he did. Disclaimer.
Working on crawling, but man, this was dope though, man. Like it's everything that I imagined the panel that was gonna be.
You keep doing it.
And it's funny.
But for real, like,
It's funny how I've imagined this all just the time, bruh. And like, but
I hope it helps somebody.
like he said, the other day,
Yeah.
like B said it yesterday. He was just like, I allow myself to move on my own time, and I just see it unfold step by step, and I don't let anybody rush me. I don't let ideas overwhelm me. I see it step by step. I plan it out. I know how it's supposed to look, so I'm going to do it in that way. Whether or not I learn very quickly as I started this, everybody's not going to see the vision.
You should let me read Virtual.
I can
You read it. I'm gonna read it to the people.
I can see how it's supposed to go, but everybody's not gonna understand but me because I'm the one who see it in my head. I can tell it to you. You can build it however you want to build it in your mind by my description. But you're probably not going to still see it the way I see it.
Not
Maybe-
exactly.
Exactly. I'm talking about to the T. I can explain it the best way, but you may not see it. Before I finish, I'm gonna let the people hear what you heard when he read that verse to you and why you're feeling the way that you feel. What woke you up the other day.
Because I heard it before, but
But
the virtuous wife. This is Proverbs 31 verse 10, right? Proverbs 31 verse 10. Who can find a virtuous wife? For her worth is far above rubies. The heart of her husband safely trusts her, so he will have no lack of gain. She does him good and not evil all the days of her life. She seeks wool and flax, and willingly works with her hands. She is like the merchant ships. She brings her food from afar. She also rises while it is yet night, and provides food for her household, and a portion for her maidservants. She considers a field and buys it. From her profits she plants a vineyard. She girds herself with strength and strengthens her arms. She perceives that her merchandise is good, and her lamp does not go out by night. She stretches out her hands to the distaff, and her hand holds the spindle. She extends her hand to the poor. Yes, she reaches out her hands to the needy. She is not afraid of snow for her household, for all her household is clothed with scarlet. She makes tapestry for herself. Her clothing is fine linen and purple. Her husband is known in the gates when he sits among the elders of the land. She makes linen garments and sells them, and supplies sashes for the merchants. Strength and honor are her clothing. She shall rejoice in time to come. She opens her mouth with wisdom, and on her tongue is the law of kindness. She watches over the ways of her household, and does not eat the bread of idleness. Her children rise up and call her blessed. Her husband also, and he praises her. Many daughters have done well, but you excel them all. Charm is deceitful, and beauty is passing. But a woman who fears the Lord, she shall be praised. Give her of the fruit of her hands, and let her own works praise her in the gates.
ain't that
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
and that's how you felt. That was you.
And there were so many, like, I could, if I had the time, I'm not going to do it today, but if I had the time, I could break down my perspective of what each line was representing. And it's so dope. If you could find yourself in this passage, man.
You would cheat the people if you were to do
Bruh,
that.
that's why I'm not gonna do it.
You would cheat the people. You would show your hand.
If you can find yourself in this passage, at least, it's like, what? It is 21 different lines on here. 21 different lines. If you can find yourself in at least 70%, don't let nobody tell you not a beautiful woman inside and out. If somebody can't see you for you, and you can find any part of yourself in this, and you can find the fortitude, the mental fortitude, the spiritual fortitude to work on the things that you lack in this, bruh, lady, woman, queen, empress, there's nothing nobody can tell you. No man, no woman, no child, nobody but God. And God already done told you who he was. Look at that. Look at that. Virtuous woman.
She said I was going to go around, to give everybody the last remark. She gave hers. Cause
That's mine right there.
I don't even want her to. I don't want her. That's something to end on her. That's just high praise. We're going to start with you, Jack. To close the people out.
I would just want to say to the people that I really do hope they gain something from this episode, and even they got seen it in person. You know what I mean?
Right.
To how we went by Jay Will and how he's transitioned everything, as in put things together. He had he used Queen as a wrench. He used Britt as a hammer. He used he just used different tools to allow this project to continue to build up. You know what I mean? It's all about who you allowed in your circle, right? Mm-hmm. And what kind of energy they brings. And I just want to say I know I could speak for everybody else. We appreciate you for allowing us to step in your territory to where you trust us enough to help you build your project, man. And it's all about connecting yourself with positivity, man. Right. Like bro said, allow yourself the first 20 minutes you wake up, do something positive, listen to something positive. Just start your day, man, and it'll help you so much, and it allowed me to free myself from other people's opinions, other people, how I used to always allow, other people's opinions to dictate how I'm supposed to live my life. You know what I mean? And that social media, I had to cut myself off that social media. Jay, you see me day before yesterday. Oh, that was yesterday. And you were like, B, you on that social media? I said, yeah. And it's almost like I gave you an excuse to why I was on it. You feel me? That's just him holding me accountable, because I just told him last week ago that I was going to cut myself off of social media. You feel me? But that social media will drain you till it get every last bit of you out. You know what I mean? So therefore, I just thank each and every one of y'all, for just being open to the public, to Justin, to us. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And our stories, I believe everybody done went through something. You know what I mean? And our stories could, bring them in and have them tune in. Hey, boy, about to start up. Hey, let's get there. What we need to be. Right. You know what I mean? And this right here. So, man, I just appreciate all of y'all, man. And this is just the beginning, like I always say, bro. Just the beginning.
I know it's going in a circle, but I wanted to say off of that I appreciate y'all openness, and I appreciate my ability to feel like I can be completely me, speak and say whatever it is that's on my mind and in my heart, even while being discreet. and y'all giving me the food for thought. And I hope that somebody out there, whoever listening to it, if they going through something similar or went through something similar or find themselves in a similar position, gain something from that advice that was given. It wasn't just for me. I wasn't making it personal. It was examples and opinions from open-minded and trustworthy and truthful people speaking on, from perspective on what they would, and it ain't nothing but truth.
All I gotta say is,
I appreciate that.
Next time you walk in the man house, just speak.
Oh, I spoke all right, but it came out. I was crying and stuff, I was in my element. I was out my element.
They said I just speak. He said. All I gotta say is I'm always in a constant state of gratitude and appreciation and thankfulness. I'm thankful that I met Justin. I'm grateful that I met this man because, and I'm grateful for this podcast. I'm thankful for this platform. I feel what B-Jack says when he says, man, this is therapeutic. Because I can tell you guys, I work hard, man. Jay knows this about me, man. I work hard. I know we all do, probably.
Right.
But I work hard, and the last couple of days have been really, really hard. Emotionally. I mean, when you're an entrepreneur, it can be very draining sometimes.
Yeah, it can.
And I really now look forward to this. So I was really glad, man, like we're in the group chat now. And the other day we had a conversation. What was it? I think it was last week. We had a conversation, man. That conversation last one was like 2 hours.
On the phone, man.
Yeah, and I was like loving that, man. And so now I get a chance to meet the queens, and we all just share, and this was just dope. This is so dope, man. And I'm thankful that you allowed me to be a part of this, bro. And I'm grateful for BJ. I'm grateful for Brittany. I'm grateful for Queen. I'm grateful for this. I'm thankful for this space. I'm thankful for anybody that watches this, man. This is a beautiful thing, man. And I'm glad to be a part of it. I'm glad to be a part of the panel. Like BJ said, man, it's just the beginning. And I think it's gonna be something really, really special.
Yeah.
That people are gonna really, really value. The information. It's a great space.
Yeah, it's a dope space. I can't let nothing stop me from having it. No, I was like, if something stopped me, I'd be there.
I did snap on you earlier. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that was beautiful to see. I was like, oh, they want me.
I snapped. All right,
I wish I saw the way you did. He snapped me, and I was looking at the phone like you ain't even my name.
I was like, I ain't trying to hear that shit.
Yeah, I ain't even trying to hear that.
Yeah,
I was like, okay, I'll be there.
If this, I understand, but if this,
I ain't even trying to hear that.
yeah, that shit.
It took her 5 hours to respond, right?
She said she went to sleep though. She said she about to close out, and I called her. I said, you got till 7 o'clock.
Right.
I called
her.
I called her 7:01.
Yeah.
Oh, you
I called her 7:01, and she didn't answer the phone, but she texted, I'm coming. She didn't answer it, but she texted.
Because it didn't ring.
Because I was going boy. She texted right. I'm coming. I was like, oh man, alright. You ain't just not boy. You ain't okay, cool. You wasn't just not answering the phone. I got you. Right?
man.
So you a headache. But if I can say anything in closing, to men and women, just know that even though you're not perfect, you are definitely enough. And you have to believe that before someone else can see it, you have to believe it within yourself. And just because all the time we say that we're in our own lanes, but I don't think that we truly believe that. But you definitely have to believe that in everything that you do, friendship, relationships, job, whatever, you are in your own lane. And just because your speed limit is a little slower than someone else's, you can't look at that and get salty. You know, it's a marathon. You definitely have to clap for other people until the baton is passed to you, so that, you know, and if people do what they're supposed to, they'll clap for you also. Just remember, you are enough, and you don't have to prove that to someone else who doesn't see it.
Right.
That
That part.
Clap.
That part.
A lot of people don't
That
clap because, you know, they feel like, dang, dog, you forgot about me. I did everything that you asked me to do.
And
And
I ain't
that
got my
went
blessing,
right.
not knowing that, you know, I might have
That
gave
might
her
be your
a call.
test right there.
She might have got a new car. You might have a lemon.
Mm.
But I'm about to give you a car and a house. Just be patient.
You don't even
I'm
know it's coming,
working it
right.
for you.
You don't even know it's
You don't
coming.
know you don't even have the room right now
Alhamdulillah.
to receive the blessing that I want to drop on you. But she got there. So clap for her when she get it, because yours is coming. You know, it's one of those things where, you know, just like they say on Facebook, when you plant the seeds, you don't keep checking on it every day to see if it grew. You know that it is going to grow.
You just water it.
You water it, you give it the sunlight, you leave it the hell alone. That's what you have to look at in your everyday life. What seeds are you planting that you know they're going to grow, they're just not growing right now.
Right.
So just remember that. Water your own garden. Stay out of other people's shit. You enough.
Girl. We done grew up with little babies. We little babies and we grown now. We grown.
Really and truly, though,
Same.
you know, if you really be honest about it, most of the time that is your test.
Right.
The test is to apply it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
If you apply it, you have to be anything that you give. You have to be a cheerful giver
What a pure heart.
with a pure heart.
With a pure heart. I
When
say
you
it all the time.
give with the cheerful heart, cheerful giving, you get it back, and that is the test. To just be, you don't have to physically give. That goes back to, like I said, the tithes and offering. It's not the money that goes into the storehouse. You know, what really goes into the storehouse is what God gives you, and my ability is just being able to help, and that is everybody's tithes, helping the community, helping the people. That is your 10% of you giving, because this will not turn off until you die. I don't have to give you financial money for you to feel good. I can just make you feel good for you to go and get your
2% of
own
your
money.
time.
Exactly, because that building, like I said, when COVID hit, that whole building that you was giving that tithe and offering shut down. So where was that 10% going? Or you weren't even able to give your 10% anymore.
Right.
Because the building itself that you worship was gone.
10% of your
You
time,
let
10% of your
idol,
heart.
you let people take away your worship. A building that you had so high up, you let them strip you of a building. So when they stripped you of that building, you start worshiping altogether, because you only felt good when you go into that building. But why didn't you never have this type of stuff in your house to fill that church? This is what church, when two or more gather, that is church. You would have never lost it if you would have continued to worship like this. But most people don't want to worship because they feel like in their mind they are conditioned. Old time related condition, you don't start worshiping until you go to that building that got that cross on the top and that fucking white Jesus on the wall.
Exactly, but you are the temple. That's what
Exactly.
they teach you.
Right.
They don't see. That's why I said be honest and be precise with the people so they can want to do. The people don't want to do because you're not giving them the tools that they need to make a decision. You want to just control the narrative. Give people the grace and mercy to be conscious enough to make the right decision. People are so afraid that people are not going to make the right decision, so you got to lead them into a decision. And then if they don't go that way, now you like, oh yeah, because you want them to go that far. Trust, just give them. If they can't, when you depart, you would never depart from the word, bro. That's just what it says. When it can't be on you, it got to be in you. And that's why they start you such a young age, because everything that you learn at adolescence, it will never leave you. That is how you taught. You're taught everything, like he said, as a baby. You learn how to walk as a baby. Nobody learns how to walk as an adult unless you lose your ability to walk. Nobody has became 18, 20 years old and started just learning how to walk. That's not, you teach everything as an adolescent so you can grow with it. You know what I'm saying? So that's the only reason why I brought that up. And when we were talking about it, I just felt like that was something that we could piggyback off of, because I think everybody was thinking when I said a man-woman panel that it was gonna be one of these things of, well, why the fuck y'all be acting like this? And then blah 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 blah.
I mean, we can get into that.
Back and forth.
It's a valid question.
It's not. That's not what it was created for per se. But when we have something on our minds, something that we go through, yes, we bring it up, but it's not going to be the battle of the sexes. That's not what it's created for.
Right.
But we need the feminine energy, the masculine energy to come together to have a healthy medium, so we can talk things out. Period.
Right.
Just a dialogue. Period. A softer voice and a harder structure, and that's how we come together as a tribe. You know what I'm saying? But guys, this is just the beginning of what we just. You got another little teaser, like you gonna hear another beginning of the audio that we just started off before that. But this is the first visual that we've been talking about getting to. And I was gonna hold this off for a minute because I thought about it. I asked her about it, and she was just like, well, you can do this with it, and you can set it up like this, and you can do this. And I was just like, you know what? You right. Let's just make that shit play up. And I was like, you know what? I just do this shit at the end of the month. Fuck it. I'm gonna start it in April. And then I thought about it. And I thought about it, and I was just like, why? Why can't I just grow into that? Why? I already have the vision. It's with the works of it, right? Not the optics and the visual of just putting stuff on the wall and just the color lights. Because now I've always been a firm believer. The less that you have of distractions, the message is grasped more. If you seeing all this shit in my background, colorful lights, you're looking at that. You know what I'm saying? You're like, damn, bro, that's a nice little picture. Why it's scribbled like that? And you losing the message part. But now it's nothing in
Now
there.
to miss something vital.
So are you going to look at this empty room and be like, I can't concentrate because this shit is just too empty to concentrate? No, you're not.
That wall sure is white.
It sure is. It's nothing on that wall. I'm still trying to figure out why the nigga ain't got nothing on the wall. You're not gonna do that. And when I forgot to call you and ask you about the stand, but bruh, like I said, the creator does everything to just show you how your spirit is going. Don't ever go in line with it, because I didn't even have to tell you to bring that. The last 2 times you came, you didn't even bring that. You brought it the first time. The next 2 times you came, you didn't bring that. All of a sudden, you just brought that shit out of the blue.
Exactly, because when he said, I was like, I kind of know what she's talking about. I look a little rough. I don't know if I want to be in her live looking like I'm looking.
I appreciate y'all coming through, man, and continue, bro. Like, we are going to make sure we continue doing this. Like, we got to. Like,
please. We coming at y'all. If y'all ain't on there heavy like that, y'all will be.
We definitely got another guest coming through next week. We already got that set. But, you'll still probably just hear us by ourselves no matter what. But, everybody, even if it's not the panel, we still bringing people one-on-one.
Throw some topics in the comments.
But to be honest, I created it as a panel, but unknowingly, these guys just begin to bring themselves as my team. I can't even have an episode without them no more now.
It ain't an episode without us.
And to be honest, I gotta be real with it. Like, these niggas is FWM now. Like, so if anybody do come, you in here with everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like,
not with me.
You just here. So share. You know what I'm saying? Comment.
Like, subscribe.
You know what I'm saying? Just tell everybody. Tell everybody. Tell your mama. Tell your grandma. Tell your cousins. Tell your uncles. Tap in. Share this shit to everybody. Like, tap in, because this therapeutic. Everybody, the audio is coming out. So you don't have to really just use this as, well, I got to make sure I sit down and listen to this. I got to have time. Don't even worry about that shit. It's recording on the audio. The audio's coming out no matter what. It's not just the video. We're just giving you a bonus feature of being able to see us do this. But the audio is coming out way behind it. So when you want to listen to this on your drive, it's coming.
Merch in the making.
It's coming. Like, FWM shirts, hoodies. It's coming. It's just a time. It's FWM bracelets. Fuck with me. Fuck with me here.
Oh, I like
It's
that.
the FWM necklace. You know what I'm saying? It's coming. Everything is coming. Like, I don't go anywhere without wearing my shit. Like, you see me every day with my shirt on. I've had this bracelet since 2021. Since I first jumped off. Like, I don't take it off. My words coming off because I showered. Like, my words coming off. It's coming off on it. Like, we've been doing this. Like, so, guys, thank you for coming through. Thank you for watching. Make sure you tell everybody, man. This me, my team, you know, BJ, Trey, Britt, Meg,
Queen.
We in it, you know, JP, the FWM podcast. Follow me.
So why you don't say it? Because I don't say it.
He said it on the recording. I told you he said it on his video earlier.
They in there.
He said I can say it because it's not cursing. How would you say it? I'm gonna show you.
I ain't turned it off.
Yeah, well, yeah, Bob.
It's still going.
Like this,
I'm letting them be nosy.
They ain't even the word. He said, I'm gonna just say follow me. That's not cursing if I do it like this.
It's almost like your gesture got to be like, baby.
So you can know it ain't cursing. So he was like, he said it's not cursing, so I gotta say it like this. Follow me. Follow me.
But we all, okay, I'm not gonna cut it off.
We
Clocking out, dogs.
Follow me.
And my partners had done got on here on and off and shit. You know, ain't nobody said nothing or whatever. I wonder if they could hear us.
Niggas just,
I had a good bit of people come in. Ooh, shoot.
It's like, how often you trying to, is this like a Sunday or?
Hey, Glenn.
I mean, when niggas
I see you, boy. But we about to leave now. Y'all late as the fuck. You gonna have to rewind that shit and go back. And come back, because we out of here now. It's over with. But we'll be back probably tomorrow. Every time we say we're going to do it once a week, we be back the next day.
Yeah. Oh, God.
So we probably be back tomorrow.
Bro, we done said this shit but one time a week.